Let's see, I'm testing out this mirror. This one right here. Brand new. I'm still adjusting it. So far it looks good though. I've previously tested it a bit, but let's see. Jeez, it is windy. Just keeping it pace. So far it seems pretty good. All I gotta do right now is just slightly adjust it. I left it not loose. Jeez, I don't know if these trees fell over, if they cut them, but it looks different. Now it's basically all about just moving the moving this little glass thing or whatever around mirror till it's in place. They were probably cut or massively fallen over. Look at that. Windy. It's gonna be great coming back. That person was passing kind of close. Yeah, it's great. I can just glance down and be like, oh yeah, there's the car. I don't have to look over my shoulders as much. It's great. Yeah, these are smaller areas. How much room do I have technically? Okay, I actually have a bit of room. It's good. Yeah, it's like when you have one of these mirrors or even two of them, it's going to poke out a little bit more. So you got to get used to the extra size. That's what I'm doing now. Ah, the wind. Now this is where the mirror is most useful for, being able to see all the lanes behind me nice and clearly as I go slow down the main road. Probably like 7 miles an hour, maybe. This isn't even as strong as the wind was. Well, let's see. Impressions of the mirror so far. Who knows if I'll title this video like a review or anything like that. Probably won't, since I'm so new with it. Anyways, it's a mirror. It holds up well. You can tighten it up so tightly, you know, kind of, that it's not going to move around with the wind, definitely. Which is the cool thing about this one. Don't know if it's different from any other mirrors, because this is my first. Though I've read on Amazon as well as eBay for like 4 or 6 years, however long this thing's been around, it's probably one of the best ones out there, at least from what I've read. And it does hold up. So far it is pretty good. I'm happy with it. But you know, I'll see if it stays throughout the rest of these vlogs or so. If it does, then I guess I like it. For now, it's pretty cool being able to just glance down and, you know, see what's behind you. Though I've also heard you really shouldn't worry too much about what's behind you all the time. I mean, I've biked on the road like this for 5 months, learning all this kind of stuff without a mirror. I wouldn't say you're suicidal without a mirror. You just become a lot more aware without one. But when you get one, it only makes it a bit easier. You're already used to performing without one. I mean, like, hey, I'm still alive. No worries there. All you really need to do is be seen. Though, having one of these things, at least, if something was going to ram you, you'd be able to see it and react. I know if I was going to be traveling down a, a long 8-mile road like in my last, or 6-mile road like in my last vlog, down to that roundabout. Having one of these things would have been really useful, mainly so I can know when a car was going to come, because I'd always be looking over my shoulder. But at least here I can kind of, you know, just glance down, though I do still look over my shoulder, because that still is the surefire way of making sure you're safe. So yeah, it's great to have around. That's the impressions I'm getting. I know for this one, I needed to cut off the end of the handlebars. You know, you got the end of the handlebars, you gotta cut that off, then pull out the plug or whatever it is inside. Then it reveals this hollowed out area. That's where you plug this thing in. And through mechanisms and things with the parts, it tightens up and makes you good to go. Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely be linking this in the description. I think it goes without saying. That person sounded like number 3. Still sounds like number 3. You know Kooky from, what is it? Kids Next Door? Anybody used to watch that show? I've been rewatching a lot of those for like the 3rd time. They're so much fun just to watch. You know, it seems whenever there's a show I like, at least nowadays, there's always a very crazy lead character, whatever it is, or there's, you know, some person in the show that is drastically crazy. That's always appealed to me now, anyway. You know, it's really hard to explain, but there's always got to be something like mentally not right in the head of the person that's playing the part. Or, I don't know, that probably doesn't make any sense either. Let's see. Shows I like. Star vs. the Force of Evil, Steven Universe, let's see. Gravity Falls. If there's one thing that's kind of the same with each one of these shows, there's always a crazy lead. Star, Mabel, Gravity Falls, and let's see. You got Steven, but I don't think he's too crazy, but the show is definitely, I don't know. It's never like always serious is what I'm getting at. And that's what I like in a lot of shows. Let's see, some more Avatar: The Last Airbender. If there's something that you know goes with each one of those shows, maybe you can understand it. It's hard for me to explain it, but there's just one quality that is there for each and every one of those shows. It's like there's always something bigger to the shows. Glare in the mirror. I guess that's kind of normal though. It is still cool to see behind me, even though I get glared a little bit. But I guess that's fine. Just look away from the mirror. I know before I came out here, I just got done watching the latest Steven Universe episode. That was a very emotional ride, let me say. The thing is, the show touched on people that, let's see, maybe they lost their mothers when they were young, and dealing with that sort of thing, and how Steven is dealing with it, the main character, or one of the main characters. It just, what I like in shows, at least that I've, you know, listed off, they always try to call on something that resonates with each and every one of us. Like somehow, these very deep issues. And it's not just stupid humor. I mean, there could be some of that in there, but, you know, it's always used in a way that is, like, it's profound. I like shows when they get deep. When it's just mindless action, or, it is windy, look at that. When it's just like it's all coming from over there. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna have fun going home, because I'm gonna have a tailwind. But, you know, with each and every one of these shows, or shows that I like, or whatever, there's just always something deeper, a deeper meaning to everything. I want to have all this. The marshes over here got flooded. I just want there to be something deeper to it. Something like that. That's always what makes me enjoy a show. And then I know there's a show that I watch, but I have a massive problem with. I mainly watch it just because the show before it, its predecessor or so, got canceled. Ringing a bell? Clone Wars, Star Wars The Clone Wars. Clone Wars I absolutely love. I love the characters. Oh jeez. Should I be careful here? Let's see. It's really hard to explain because in the shows I listed off, there's like the main characters, but in this show, Clone Wars, really the main characters are whatever the show wants to highlight on. Normally you'd get like Anakin, Obi-Wan, there's Ahsoka too. It's really hard to explain. I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe the writing, the examples, or whatever they show in the episodes just feels bigger, more massive, it resonates more compared to, it came after because of got canceled, were Star Wars Rebels. That show is childish in its humor. A lot of the things that it doesn't stick. And what I mean by that is you have a show that is beloved by a huge audience, Clone Wars. A lot of people love it. And when it's taken down, for reasons, okay, it's like having an identity crisis. The show instead was aiming more towards kids, if anything. I don't know what the reasoning was, but it aimed more towards kids. And then you have an audience they were fucked over. Sorry for my F word, but I couldn't think of anything else. So they come to Star Wars Rebels, and then they see that it's all the themes, the plot, the characters, everything is dumbed down to a great extent. And I mean, I have a massive hate for Ezra. I don't hate all of the Ghost crew, but for some reason, or I can probably pick apart Ezra definitely, but I absolutely despise his character. And everything about him just doesn't feel real. And I don't know, the show's got such a massive identity crisis. And that's only one of the problems then. All this wind, jeez, looks like I'm at the ocean. Here, look at this. The show's got a massive identity crisis. And then you come from I don't know if I would consider Star Wars Clone Wars deep, because the writing that they focused on was more for a mature audience. It wasn't that they showed nudity or said F words or anything. That's not what I'm saying. It's just things that adults would more enjoy. Like the Clone Wars audience, I think, how many seasons did they get to? Like season 5, and then season 6 never aired. You had people that grown up with it, and then they want to go on to Rebels. So there's that identity crisis thing. I mean, if they try to appeal to kids, then the massive audience of Clone Wars people that stuck with it, like myself, would not really enjoy it as much, and would definitely go on hating it. And I know, let's see, since there's the rating that is much lower than PG, they can't exactly decapitate on screen, and I don't know. There'd always be someone that's left out because there's that identity crisis thing, and I don't even know what would really fix it. Maybe bumping up the ratings, but I would say the reason I dislike it compared to Clone Wars is just that the writing, I don't know if the talent isn't there, but the themes introduced, I don't know, it's just insanely lacking. I mean, let me go and touch on a lot of the characters from Star Wars Rebels. I don't really like Ezra too much. Sabine, okay, let me try to piece this into my head. What are my opinions on Ezra? I really dislike him. Just everything about his character makes me angry just listening to him, or just frustrated. He is like, people have been saying he's Space Aladdin, but that's not why I dislike him. He just doesn't feel like a real person. That's my comment. He doesn't feel like a real person. in the way he interacts. It's always about humor with him. And that humor never sticks. Squirrel. That humor never sticks. He's always the one being, I don't know, cocky? I don't know. I don't care if it's part of his character. It's just, I wouldn't say lazy. It's just very, very annoying to listen to. Something like that. Sabine. For the most part, I don't really despise her a lot. No, I really don't despise her too much. It's more of a neutral kind of character. I don't hate her, but I don't really like her either. Zeb, I think his voice actor is pretty cool. As for a character, he doesn't really have anything that makes him interesting. Same with others. I mean, in more recent days, Sabine has gotten a lot of character development from one particular episode, which has made me more interested in her, definitely. But anyways, that's that one where they train with Ezra and Kanan with the Darksaber combat. Anyways, Ezra I hate. Sabine I really don't hate too much. No, I don't hate. She's more neutral. Zeb, very much neutral as well. Nothing really too interesting about him. Kanan is the Padawan that sort of escaped Order 66 because his master Zebabalaba, I think is her name, kind of sacrificed herself for him to survive. I mean, sure, the backstory is kind of interesting. There's more to it there's more to him than anything in the other characters. I really don't dislike him, but when he talks sometimes it's just like, okay, this doesn't feel like Kanan. This just feels like the show is making him say useless things to make kids laugh or something. I mean, for what he is, he isn't disliked in my book. He's definitely a step up from neutral, but you know, the comedic things he says are not very comedic in my opinion. They just don't land. And I've voiced these on YouTube before to some people, and a lot of people do agree with me on that. Let's see, who are the other characters? I think the last one, no, you got Hera. You got Hera. She's more of the motherly person. I'm gonna extend this ride. We're gonna go up the bike bridge. Anyways, you got Hera, the motherly type. That was kind of her character since the beginning, to be honest. She was the one that was more ready when she became more aware of there were other rebel selves. She was more approving of being a part of them, you know, becoming, I hope that wasn't glass. Was it like commander? I don't remember her rank, but that's basically her story, kind of. As for if I dislike her or not, I don't. I think she's more, her character is more mature. And the writers of the story, you know, they don't seem to suit her up with a bunch of useless comedic stuff. It just seems like a lot of that useless comedic stuff is coming from maybe Ezra, some from Kanan, and maybe some from Sabine and Zeb. It seems to be bounced off of her and she reacts to it. It doesn't seem like it comes directly from her. So, I don't dislike her in any way. She's more step up from neutral. Let's see. Then there's Chopper, the last one basically, in the original Rebels crew, the Ghost crew. Oh man. I don't know if I dislike him to a great extent or absolutely love him, but I think that really averages out to neutral. I don't despise him, but I think he is stupid humor. But a lot of times, I actually approve that he is there for the humor. I don't know, I mean, I would much more approve of R2's humor because it seems like every single time he's angry, it seems like he's cussing at all the main characters and they don't even notice. I don't know. As for his character, I don't dislike him. I find him more neutral. And that's sort of the problem with a lot of these characters, is they're okay. Some I despise, but most I just find neutral or a little bit above neutral. So yeah. And then I compare that to shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where thing is, there's like Aang, Sokka, Katara, Toph, Zuko. Each and every one of these characters are amazing. They are amazing. I mean, Aang's story, I mean, I'd have to go watch it to rekindle a lot of the memory, but it is deep. The episodes are deep. Their characters are deep. Katara is an amazing character that I wish was real. Definitely with Zuko as well. Sokka has actually good humor as well. I'll wait for this person. I know, as for their stories, as for their character, more of it has to do with the writers actually being competent. So I guess the blame for why Rebels sucks, in my opinion, has to do with the writers just making all the characters just annoying to me. Then you got like, what is it, Mabel and Dipper. I'd have to really go back and watch that, because I really don't have much memory of it, but that show made me cry in terms of how much I enjoyed it. It just, a lot of the emotional impact stuck and was there. In Rebels, they try to be emotionally impactful, but none of it feels like it's executed well. And on top of that, it feels like a lot of the humor is artificial. Wow, look at that. Look at those blossoms. Is the almond blossom parade here? I wonder when that is. I don't know. I guess a lot of it just feels insanely artificial, and then when you have, I just don't like it when it feels like they've gone on for so long, so many seasons, 3 seasons, and they've been continuing to do this throughout. It just, I don't know. I just don't know how some people can be so incompetent when they're trying to write this sort of stuff. I don't know. That might be my end of my rant slash trying to make it into a discussion sort of thing of Star Wars Rebels. Compared to a lot of these other shows that I absolutely loved, it just feels annoying that this show just can't get it right. And I'd love to hear if other people actually do think it's great, and I'd like to know why. Because I've just never been able to be convinced that it's actually good. Something like that. Like, a lot of it is just annoying me, and it's hard to really give examples. You got, as for the episodes I really like, there was the one that I talked about before where Sabine actually got some really great character development. You know, new things that I guess all throughout you really never got any interesting character development. None of it ever really stuck and made me feel emotional. I guess that's what I really want out of my shows, is I want to care. And a lot of it has just not gotten to me. It's not that I'm hard to get to. I mean, shouldn't it be obvious, right? Right? And it's not just me. I'm not like the only one with these rants. I have talked to other people. So it's not just me with these. It's just annoying. I know it's just a show and I shouldn't really worry too much about it. I'm not. But I do feel like if it's going to change or get better, I gotta voice these concerns. Well, anyways, just a rant on my part, maybe just to feel me better, just to get me talking. Why not? I really don't talk too much in these rides. Occasionally indeed. This might be a bit of a longer one since I have been talking more anyway. Maybe there are more things I want to keep in the video. Well. Yeah, if you like Star Wars Rebels and you've seen this video, do tell me why. But a lot of it, I really do not like Star Wars Rebels in the way I would have liked Gravity Falls, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Steven Universe, definitely. It just doesn't stick, and it is just not that interesting. but I still continue to watch it because there are some things that it's cool, and I do want to know what happens with all the characters in the Star Wars universe, I guess. Well, discussion over, unless I think of some other things to say. Well, at least I got a bike lane. Now I'm going into the wind and into the sunlight, and it looks pretty. Now let's keep this gear. I can't go much faster unless I'm going to wind myself. Bike lane changes over there. I'll have to wait to get over. No cars. I'm in the middle of the road. Okay, cool. The wind. We'll see if we make this green. This wind, man, it's nasty. Crazy. This might help, maybe. Look at this. Can you see that? I hope I'm aiming the camera the right place, but there's a rainbow over there. Nice. We got a rainbow. Hopefully you're seeing it. Pretty cool. Here, take a look back. Nobody's on the road. Nice, huh? Look at these llama blossom trees. First time I've really been out here seeing them. A lot of firsts ever since I started cycling around everywhere. Seeing them in a car doesn't compare. Because you're with someone else. Seeing them by yourself. Seeing them out here while you're by yourself. Oh, I like it. It's just something more. Yeah, GoPro's still going. Yeah, it is. 1 hour and 9 seconds, 9 minutes. I can never really tell. It would have beeped for me. I've never had it really beep because I've never been out that long, so I don't know. I have extra batteries, but I don't know if I'd actually really want to, refill them, put them in. Ah, jeez. I'm not tired with this wind. Guys coming fast, aren't they? I don't know if this is like the worst time to ride. I'm not really dealing too much with sunlight because people won't be looking at the sun. They'll be looking, straight ahead here. You don't see any sunlight. I know in my mirror, some people don't even have their headlights on. I know myself, but I have my backlight so they can see me, but I can barely see them. They kind of blend into everything. Which, for that car there, it's just like, okay, you traveled fast and close without headlights on. Good thing I saw you at the end, but whatever. Just my thoughts. This looks so pretty. This is like storm clouds on one side right here, and this on the other side. Here, 1 second. There you go. Let's pick it up. Wind is actually kind of helping me here. Got a person down there. The dog carrying everything on their bike. Okay, the wind is really blowing me. Okay, we're back. After this little detour, we have come back to the main road. The main bike road, anyway. Who knows how much of this ride I'll put into here. I've been trying to keep these rides at around like 12 minutes, 10. 18 was the last vlog. My bad. But for however much I keep on, even if you hear me, well, if you don't hear me, then this is all null and void. It doesn't exist. Either way, thank you guys for watching this video, for coming along, for all the fragments I keep of this ride. So yeah, see you next time. Hi guys.
How you doing?
They're taking photos. Oh, more here as well. Hi guys. I was like saying hi to everyone. You give them a nice warm smile, they'll give you a nice warm smile. That's just etiquette, or whatever you want to call it. It's just something that's going to happen. Nobody gives you a frown because you give them a smile, unless they're that asshole. But you know, it's almost 0% unless they hate you from the start. Which in that case, don't say hi to them. Because if you hate them, they're likely a prick anyway. I really feel free cussing without any restraints. It has been something, all right. Me. I hold back a lot when it comes to cussing. Okay, do I have it? Yes, I do. Here, I'll show you the river. And the bike for, this video. The mirror. This is it. This is the setup. Pretty cool, huh? And look, I'll get close so you can kind of see all the grit and grind or whatever it is on this. I keep this bike dirty, as long as it doesn't affect performance. Nobody's gonna want to steal a dirty bike. Here's the river. It goes by here. People are walking over there. We're gonna get going. This is a load of barnacles. I heard that. I'm ready, I'm ready. No, you ain't. SpongeBob has the best. Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Ah, man.